My friend, he walks out the door. The second he walked out the door, the feeling of like demons and evil walks in the room. It was like this transfer, like he left and so I had cast out demons and all that kind of stuff. So I know this presence. And the second I said, you can't die, I heard a voice speak in my heart. The same way I always have heard God speak to me. Cross-check everything. It says, who says I can't take your life whenever I want? And so I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I realize I'm in this giant hand. So I'm in this hand and then I see demons right in front of me.
This guy explains to Michael Knowles why taking psychedelics causes you to see demons and causes you to enter into the supernatural realm. And let me tell you, this one is wild. Even though this was a Christian, he decided to take it anyway, and it was one of the most terrible mistakes he could have ever done. So let's get right into it, guys. Shout out to Michael Knowles. And guys, I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know we can do it with your help. So thank you so much for all the love and support. It means the world. Let's get right into it.
Anyways, he dumps out this backpack of chocolate mushrooms all over, right over the bed, right in front of me. And he basically was like, here, you know what I mean? Here, try one. You know what I mean? And now the thoughts of what I was thinking the last few months pop up. And so I said, you know what, Josh? I said, I'm tired of internally, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of there being fear with this. I just want to face this. I don't like the fear that, like, there's this fear of I shouldn't do this. And I didn't like that, you know? Like, I said, you know, I don't like fear. I'm going to confront this. I'm going to take it. I said, it's now or never.
Sometimes there's a healthy fear, though, guys.
I didn't think about it anymore. I was tired of processing it in my mind. I just wanted to try it. And I said, you know.
People get so sick of the anxiety and the hemming and hawing and the moral conscience telling you no, 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 that you think, well, here's one way I can shut up that moral conscience. I'm just going to do it. And then I won't have that anxiety of anticipation anymore.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. It was like, you know what, if you're not gonna do it tonight, it's just gonna bother you. So I did it. And I ate it was a, you know, 1/8 of mushrooms, and just for context, like that was the normal dose that I would take. That was like a normal like go-to dose. It's definitely on the higher end as far as like when you're looking at microdosing and stuff, it's a lot lower than that.
For context, he used to, you know, do lots of drugs and do psychedelics all the time. Then he got saved and then he stopped. But this is the first time back and demons came. This is wild. And there's a lesson in here for all of us.
I had taken much larger doses too. I had taken, you know, double
of everything.
Yeah. And so to me, it was like, this is kind of mild, right? That's how I'm thinking. And so I take it, and it starts off good. The first 20 minutes, I'm just getting in my vibe, and you know, and just listening to music, and it's all good vibes and good thoughts, and I'm happy, and it's gonna be good. And then at one point, my friend says, "Hey, these guys want to go to the bar. Do you want to come?" I said, "No." I said, "What do you? I just look what I just ate. I don't want to go to the bar." And so he said, "Well, I'm gonna go. You can stay here if you want. That's fine. Is that cool?" I said, "All right, I guess.
Hey.
I'm stuck here now, you know, kind of thing." And so he leaves. And this stuff, it takes like probably 30 minutes to kick in. So in the meantime, you start kind of feeling your stomach will start to turn. There's like this almost anxiety kind of thing, like you feel it kind of starting to creep up on you. And so I already had feel that, so I said, oh, we're about to go into this. And so my friend, he walks out the door. The second he walked out the door, it was like that feeling of sleep paralysis, the feeling of like demons and evil walks in the room. It was like this transfer, like he left, and it was, the first thing I noticed was if I feel like I just got set up unknowingly. I feel like my friend just set me up and he was used as a vessel and had no idea, completely not in his mind knowing what he was doing. But I just got set up here. Like,
which you did.
100%.
Yeah.
And that was so clear. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wow, I just got set up. and so he walks out and evil just walks in. Mind you, I have had demonic encounters as a Christian at this point, just based off doing God's work and having demons come and attack me and stuff. I had cast out demons and all that kind of stuff. So I know this presence. Yeah. I'm still like so 100% sober-minded. Like I'm 100% in my rational mind. I feel it tangibly coming.
I doubt you're 100% sober-minded, but maybe. I mean, you're feeling that way probably. But this is wild. Why do you think that so many people have demonic experiences while they're on psychedelics if it doesn't have any cause to the spiritual realm? Why else? Do you just think everyone randomly has these trips of demonic things, even though they probably never ever think about demons? I mean, he did, to be fair. Everyone else, no.
I said, oh, I know that presence. And so I said, oh no, this isn't good. And so, but I'm like, all right, I know how mushrooms work. I'm gonna stay positive, keep my mind right. This, if I feed into this, it's gonna get worse. I started ignoring it. I said, I'm good. And I go into the bathroom and I'm talking, I'm cheering, I'm giving myself a pep talk in the mirror. And I said, Josh, I said, you took mushrooms. I said, it's all right. You're gonna be okay. I said, you can't die. And the second I said, you can't die, I heard a voice speak in my heart. The same way I always have heard God speak to me. Cross-check everything. It says, who says I can't take your life whenever I want? Who says and it wasn't in a way of like anger. It was a checking of my pride. Like, who says I just can't stop your heart whenever I want? Like, what do you mean you can't die? I could just do it now, right? Like, for no reason. You could just drop, right? So it was like, oh, I could die. Like this could be it. And so then I started being like, oh wow, this isn't good. I started feeling like, all right, I need to start repenting. So I started praying. And it was like, as soon as I started to pray and started to ask God to help me, I felt like I just was getting just like a dark cloud was just coming around me. I could tangibly feel it. I could feel it like closing in on me. And I'm like, but I'm still in this like state of like, it's gonna be okay, you're good. And I'm like, you know what, Jesus, forgive me. You know how we think like, oh, I messed up, oh Lord, forgive me, and we're good.
Yeah.
So it's like forgiveness doesn't equate to consequence. So it's like the consequences were still there, and then I realized, oh no, I opened this door.
Right.
I know better. I'm not a baby. I'm a young child, and God, I knew better. And so now it's all hitting me like, oh, what'd you do? Like and you just opened this door. And you're gonna be stuck in this place because now I know I already have my spiritual eyes open, sober-minded, in the natural. So now that I'm spiritually awake and not dead in sin, now when I actually open that veil, it's not gonna be nothing, it's gonna be clear. I'm gonna know what it is now. And so I started praying, and I'm just feeling like death encompassed me. And that's what it talks about in Psalm 18, death encompassed me, and that's what it feels like. And I called my wife and I said, she was out with friends at dinner. I said, you need to come get me. She had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't planning this, right?
I can't imagine she would have approved.
Yeah, no, yeah. And she doesn't know. And it's starting to get worse as before, like leading up to when she got there, it started to feel like something was pulling, like, started to feel like my spirit was wanting to go somewhere. I can't explain it. It's like, it felt like the light was flickering within, like, it was like someone was pulling me somewhere. And so it was like, by the time she gets there, I'm not able to really function at this point. I couldn't breathe well. And so she's trying to talk, like she thinks this is just normal Josh coming in the car, like, hey, why didn't you want to drive? And I said, I can't talk right now. I said, just pray. I said, just pray for me. I didn't even have time to explain to her what was going on. By this point, I couldn't breathe. It was like and she's even like, she's like, what's wrong? Like, cause I'm like, I'm gasping for breath. And I'm feeling my body like go in and out. It's like I'm here talking to you, and the next thing you know, it's like boom, snapped into like a dream realm. It's like in and out, in and out of consciousness. And then, but it would be a black void. So we're going through this whole car ride, and every now and then I would try to like tell her like, just I can't talk right now. I'm like, over like 30 minutes, I give her the story like, oh, I took mushrooms, all right, And so I get home. By the time I get home, it was just it was just fully on. I run into my room, I lay on the floor, and at this point I'm just getting pulled. Like I'm feeling my soul just get pulled out of my body.
That is wild. To play devil's advocate, first I want to point out, 100% God can take your life whenever he wants. He gives life and he takes life. Like, he's the only one who's able to do that. And anyone who else does that is against God, There's that perspective. And the second perspective is, if he's on shrooms and they say you have a realization of pretty much everything that you could ever have thought about within yourself, unless there's something spiritual about it. I would like to say that it is very spiritual because of all of the experiences everyone has encountered during their time.
And so I'm in this dark void. And next thing I know, there starts to be like sight coming to it, because it's just an abyss of blackness. And so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I realize I'm in this giant hand. So I'm in this hand, and then I see demons right in front of me. And it's all the same demons I've seen in that one overdose. It's like I don't know if they were the exact same ones, but they looked the same. It was the
same breed.
Same breed, yeah. And except this time, there was like taller ones. Like it was like they were the ones in charge. Like they were higher ranking ones. So I'm in this hand, And now I'm in another reality. And now fear's like, what is going on? Where am I? What is the first thing that hits you is you're helpless. That's I think the first thing that really got me, even before this happened, like up to this point. It's knowing like who are you gonna call? Like what are you gonna do? What do you know? It's not like when you're a kid you call your mom to help you, and you know, like there's nothing you can do. The hospital can't help you. This is you know what I mean? Like there's nothing you can do right now. So you're just helpless.
Yep.
So I'm in this I'm in this hand, and I'm seeing these demons, and so the one stands up, and then I'm looking like my attention. That once that one stands up, my attention diverts, and now it was like this light tower. Like it was like this thing if it was just tilted up and just lights just with no walls, but you could see it just a big light beam tower kind of thing with different colors. And I knew that was like the kingdom of heaven. And then I knew that I was in outer darkness of some sort. I was in this in-between place. And so now this demon's stepping forward and he's presenting a case to this tower. And he said, we're tired of this kid. He keeps coming into our kingdom, taking people out, and then he came back and ate off our table. And it hit me right then and there. You're an evangelist. You're winning souls for Jesus all the time. You really are coming into, you know, and I would. I'd go into you know, wherever, inner cities, wherever, any neighborhood, and just preach Jesus, talk about Jesus, get people saved, you know what I mean?
But you could bring 1,000 people into the church and you could wind up in the bad place.
100%.
What a phrase. He keeps taking souls out, or, you know, helping souls out of here, but then he comes and eats from our table. Even Peter Kraft, the theologian, philosopher.
That is a very fascinating statement, because a lot of people wonder, how in the world can all these people get saved, but then you hear about these evangelists or these pastors living in sin, or they have some like crazy moral failure, and you're wondering like, well, was that of God? Was all of that fake? Did these people get saved? Like, what is going on? And it makes me think about how, yes, God can use broken people, and people can still be saved and be set free while those people are doing ministry. But that doesn't mean that they are doing okay. That doesn't mean they are right with God, which is a scary, scary thought process, in my opinion.
He says that abortion is the demonic inversion of the Eucharist. In the Eucharist, the priest holds up the consecrated host and says, recites the word of our Lord, says, this is my body, which will be given up for you. And what abortion does is uses the same words to a diabolically opposite end, which is, this is my body, this is my body. And I won't save, I'll kill for my body. Right? It's a total inversion. And even this idea of, the Eucharist is manna from heaven. It's that's what you're seeing, the figure of the Eucharist in the manna that comes down and saves the Israelites, gives them bread to eat. And we now have this in the Holy Communion. And as you said earlier, this idea that, no, man, you know, what if the mushrooms are that's kind of like the manna. But the demons are telling you in this trip, they're saying, that's our food from our table that he's eating.
100%. And that was, I mean, like that was the crux of the whole thing for me. Because at that point, the thing about the spirit realm is you don't need a lot of words to get a lot of revelation. And nothing is spoken. This is all telepathically. It's just known. In the spirit, nothing is hidden. All things nothing is hidden from the light, right? Like so, in the spirit, everything is just it's out on the open. You don't have money to hide behind. You don't have a facade. You don't have your everything that you try to ignore is there, whether you like it or not, and it's seen. And so it was that moment of being naked before everything.
It's a crazy feeling.
Me being a hypocrite in that moment, me backsliding, me whatever I was, everything was there. Oops. You know, oops. And now it was a matter of I'm in this hand that I can't just get out of this. All right, see you later, guys. You know, it was. This is serious. I was in the courts of heaven. I mean, it was literally they were presenting a case against me to God. And
wow.
And so I'm sitting there now. I'm freaking out in the sense that I already was feeling my body, what was going on. It felt like everything was shriveling up. You know, it's like you could feel your organs drying up, fear becomes a jacket, you like a living thing that comes around you. Just despair, I mean, every negative like emotion, feeling you could think of is there, and then it's heightened. And I felt like a slug if you pour salt on it. I felt my life literally just getting pulled out of me, shriveling up while I'm in this hand. I feel my breath just getting pulled out of me. And mind you, in real time, you feel like you're connected to your physical body. So I'm still like 5-10% aware of what's happening in my body. And every, 10, 15, my wife's freaking out, and during this time, she's freaking out.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do.
I bet.
She thinks, should I call hospitals? What should I do? But I know what's going on, so I'm telling her, just pray for me, just keep praying, just like that. I was like, just pray. And then I'd
Going back to the part where they were presenting their case against this man, and that reminds me of Job. And when they talk about Satan in that story, he is known as the accuser. He goes around roaming the earth and finding fault within people. And that's why God is like, have you looked at my servant Job? There's no fault within him. And then Satan's like, that's because you've given him everything. So that makes you think about the devil and his minions, or all of these rebellious angels trying to get God to not receive his children in any way possible.
pulled back into, and I'd be in this reality. And so,
Because you're not in physical danger of death any more than any of us is at any given moment. If you were on heroin or something, you would have been in physical danger of death. But as you said consciously, you said, these are mushrooms. Mushrooms at this dose, they're not going to kill you. God tells you, well, I can stop your heart whenever I want.
Right.
But that's different. It's not the mushroom. So, if your wife had said, hey, you're high on heroin or something, and you said, well, don't call the doctors, she probably would have just called the doctors anyway, because this is poison. But what you're saying is, no, my danger right now, though I feel it physically, the danger that I'm in right now is a spiritual danger.
for sure. And I mean, to be honest with you, to this day, I don't know how, like, if it was just spiritually that I would have died, or like it felt physical. Like, that's the thing. Physically, my body was not functioning. Like, it felt physical. And the reason I say that is because people get this idea that like I said, like, oh, you can't die from this, you can die from that. There's, this spiritual realm is what is really deciding the physical realm. So it's like, that was a major infraction.
Go to expressvpn.com/Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, letter Y, letter T. It is ironic when you think about it. You got millions of military members who fought for our freedom, and yet we're losing more. expressvpn.com/Michael, letter Y, letter T. Now, the technical language for this is that the matter is just like the stuff that's, and the spiritual realm is the form. It's like our soul is the substantial form of our body.
Right.
And so people try to really neatly separate these two things, but that's not really how it works. You are your soul, you are your body. Those things are together inseparably for now in this world. And so to try to say, well, no, that's just happening to my spirit, it has no effect on my body, or this is just happening to my body, what are you talking about? You're both.
That's like one of the greatest mysteries I'm not gonna get into right now, but that's the mystery of it all, or not even really the mystery, that's the truth behind it, is that's like the spirit world is happening right now while we're sitting here talking. So that's what the first thing it showed me was my body's literally laying there, my soul is literally in the spirit realm. So this is happening right now. So when you see people physically going through something, you don't know what is happening spiritually a lot of times, right? So anyways, this is happening.
True.
So I'm feeling this whole thing going on in my body. I'm literally losing breath. I'm crying out for God to have mercy, but I'm thinking at this point, like, God heard me by now. Like either he forgives me or he doesn't. So I'm kind of like, I started to give up because it was exhausting me. It was physically it was giving me, like, it was taking all my strength to speak, to say, God have mercy, forgive me. I just felt the longer I was in his hand, the more life was getting pulled out of me. And at one point I started to give up. I said, you know what, Jesus, forgive me. I made a big mistake. I'm a sinner. I believe in you for my salvation. I said, I'm letting go. Like, I'm gonna give up. I'm done fighting this thing right now. And so I started to relax. And I started to, but I'm still going through turmoil. But I started to think about, my wife was pregnant at the time. I have another kid. I started to think about
wild.
that. And I said, no, I can't. I said, God, I said, you know what? It's not about me. I said, my kid needs me. And so that hit me. That was the next thing that happened was, oh, these people need me. So I said, God, just save me for them, you know? And so at that moment, I started to feel almost a slight like pressure release. And then I started to notice that at the top of that tower, like it was like, I couldn't look at it. I knew, you know, it's the glory of God was up there. I couldn't go look at it. I knew it was there, but I could see the rest of the tower. And I could see that the source of that tower was at the top of it that was giving life to the rest of it. And all of a sudden breath started coming. Like I could see like a little like breath would hit me and then I'd feel it hit me and be like, and then in that moment I said, every breath that I get he's literally giving it to me. He's aware that he's giving it to me, consciously giving it to me. And it was like I would get the breath and I would make it last because it was like there was space in between. It wasn't like I could just like how we could breathe now, just as freely as we want. I couldn't breathe freely. I was breathing according to
and it's a beautiful metaphor. And of course, as we're speaking here, there's really no such thing as a metaphor or literal. I mean, what we're saying is these two things intersect, the physical and the metaphysical. And that you say you couldn't breathe, and then God gives you that breath, and this is the image of that is what the Holy Spirit is, right? I mean, the bond of love between the Father and the Son, and this procession of breath which
it says, yeah, Psalm 33. That's what it literally says. It says He spoke everything into existence, and then it says His breath made man breathe.
Well, what does Yahweh mean? It's literally is the sound you make while breathing. God is everything. He is everything that you need Him to be. God is not in everything, like physical objects. I wouldn't say that. He's not in the evil, wicked deeds that people are doing. He is present and He knows all things and He's aware of all these things that are happening. But that just reminds me of Job again. When Job is pretty much talking about all the things that happened to him, and God is like, who made man's mouth? Who made the Leviathan in the sea and these massive creatures? I formed you. You come into this world naked and you will go out of this world naked. Like, God is sovereign. He is holy, but He is so amazing and powerful, more than we could ever imagine. So I hope you guys read that today as you are going throughout your day, as you're going throughout your week. God is a glorious, powerful God, and we need to be reminded of that. I need to be reminded of that. Thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know we could do it with your help, so thank you so much for all the love and support. And if you want to watch the rest of this video, I encourage you to click the link in the description. Amazing stuff. Have an amazing day, and God bless.